Howdy, welcome to BanjoBenClark.com. I am Banjo Ben, your teacher here on the site that teaches you how to play guitar and mandolin. But this week is Banjo week, and we're going to do another one of these build-a-break lessons. You know, folks love build-a-break lessons because it gives you a behind-the-scenes view of how to take a basic melody and build that into a solo that you're really proud of. Now, I am going to give you 3 different solos to When the Saints Go Marching In. But if you would believe it, the point of the lesson is not for you to learn those 3 solos. Yes, you can use it for that, but the main point is to watch the process, to come along with me on the journey of taking this basic melody and adding in rolls and adding in licks and hammer-ons and figuring out how to do that for yourself so that when you come to your song, eventually on the fly, you can begin to do some of these things too. If you're watching here on the website, you have everything you need as a Gold Pick member. Just scroll down, you'll see the rest of the video segments as well as the MP3s and the tabs. If you're watching somewhere else, I'd love for you to come on board at BanjoBenClark.com. You can have this lesson and hundreds of others if you're a Gold Pick member. All right, let's get started with this basic melody. Y'all, I love When the Saints Go Marching In for a build-a-break lesson because the melody holds out these long notes and we can put some cool stuff in there. The first thing that you need to know is that we're playing this in the key of G. And the cool thing about this one too, it's only 3 chords. So that's all you're going to need to know. And that's good because we want to keep it simple for this lesson. And see it from the ground up, and all that we have to worry about are 3 different chords. What are those 3 chords? Well, just a G, which is an open and standard tuning. Then we'll have a C chord, and we're not even going to play a full C chord. We'll be doing partial C chords. And then a D chord, and we're not going to be doing a full 4-finger D chord. We're actually just going to be doing maybe a 1-finger D chord. Did you know that existed? It does. We don't have to play the whole chord every time we're playing a chord on the banjo. We're just covering the chord for the strings that we're rolling through. So we'll see that. So here's what I want to do. Let's start with the basic melody first. Check out this tab. You'll see that I have your fingerings beneath each one of the notes. So that's T1 and 2 stands for thumb, index, and middle finger. And then we've got the lyrics down there. So if you strip away everything except those notes that have the words under them, you would just see this. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, so what am I doing the rest of the time? Well, I'm going to reinforce the melody very simply here. And this is kind of your first lesson in this build-a-break, by playing the melody note and incorporating it into a roll. Well, which roll, Ben? Well, it doesn't really matter, whichever roll you want to do. This one, I'm going to choose the forward roll, and I'm going to start it with the melody note. So, oh, when the saints, we're going to land on saints right there on that first string, and then that's what I'm going to start my forward roll with. And end it in the next measure. Oh, when the saints, and we'll start it again. Go marching in. Again, let's reinforce that melody note. Now here's a question. Do you have to reinforce that melody note? No, you don't. You could have started that roll on any of the other strings. Do you have to do a forward roll? No, you don't. This is just an example. We could do it again. I did a square roll there, or a mixed roll, and it sounded great. Okay, so this is just an example, and I just want you to see that you can inject your own rows into there, but we have some time to fill, so that's a good place to do it. Now, as we go to the next line, we have our melody notes are half notes, and so for this first basic melody, I'm not going to cloud it up with rolls. I'm just going to alternate it with that high G string, and let me just tell you that whenever you do something like this, that there's nothing wrong with that.
That's a perfect way to fill measures. Is it simple? Yes, but we're playing the melody and we're filling in a little bit of the space by just playing that high G string. We're over a G chord. It's great. Now when we go to measure 9, we're going to land on the word in. Saints go marching in, and we go to a D chord. So our chord changes, but we don't have to do a whole lot on the banjo here. We're allowed to play other notes that aren't necessarily in a D chord. All I want you to do is hold down that 2nd fret, that's the melody note, with your middle finger, and then we're going to do another forward roll, starting with that melody note. Now this first string here that we're using in our roll, that's a D note, so that's great over a D chord. We are playing this 5th string up here. Is that in a D chord? No, it's technically not, but that's part of the sound of a banjo, is getting that drone 5th string in there. You can play that almost with any chord that we play on the banjo. Throw that 5th string in there, it's almost always going to sound okay. And even if it sounds dissonant, sometimes it's a good dissonant. So I just filled up some more time there, measure 10. This whole line goes like this. Saints go marching in. So pretty simple, right? 1 and measure 11. There's our melody note. 1, 2, 3. Now this time I'm going to fill it up again with a forward roll and land there, measure 12 on that melody note that I need. So now measure 13, we're going to a C chord for the first time. That doesn't mean that I have to grab a full C chord with my fret hand. I'm just going to grab the notes that I need. And I want to do a forward roll here. This time I'm going to change it up for you. Instead of starting the forward roll on the melody note, which would be this, I'm going to start it on the 5th string, just to show you that we can have variety there, and you can start it on whatever note you want. So I'm just playing a partial C chord there, and then I'm going to pick the melody back up and measure 14. When the saints, but this whole line, 1, 2, 3, and we'll see some repeating here. Saints go march. Our melody note goes to this D. We don't have to make any other notes in the chord. We're fine. We're just going to counteract those melody notes with open D strings. First low. G. And then you'll see those little red squares around those final notes. I'm going to get away from using the lyrics just to keep the tab from being so crowded, and we're going to, as we go forward, use those red squares to show where the original melody notes were and see how we're beginning to doctor those up to do what we want to do. Okay, so in the next video segment, we're going to play this basic melody all the way through very slowly. Make sure that you got that down. And that's a respectable solo. You can carry that anywhere and play it. But then we're going to begin beefing it up by first adding hammer-ons. So instead of just reinforcing that melody note by just playing it again, I want to hammer into it to really drive that melody note home. I want you to see how we do that. And then for the third solo, we're going to incorporate some really cool licks that work with the melody but are fun to put in any song. Okay? If you're watching on the website, just go to the next video segment. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or somewhere else, then I'd be honored to have you on board. Come on over to banjobenclark.com. It's very affordable. Be a Gold Pick member, and you can have access to this lesson and hundreds more. Let's go.